Peace, family. I want to say black power to all the families out there that love being black, that love black power. I am honored here today, Brother Sarnetta at the House of Consciousness, to have two brothers sitting here with us. Brothers. First I'm saying two brothers that's representing the Moorish nation. We got Brother Sabir Bey, and we got Supreme Intelligence. Brooklyn Moorish Supreme Intelligence? Moorish Brooklyn Intelligence. And of course, we have the Honorable Dr. Seti sitting on the scene. We have not come here to tiptoe through the tulips. We are not here to pussyfoot, to buck dance, or to tap dance. We are here to answer all the questions that you, the viewers outside, been asking. Before I go into it, I want to read what this brother has texted me. His name is King Haru, and he was on my website, on my YouTube site, and he says, I think we have gone with this as far as possible. Everything else will just be redundant and beating a dead horse. It's time to let the people decide for themselves based on the information given from both parties. The people have heard both sides. And now we must do the research and come up with our own conclusion. Our divine spirits and consciousness will give us the answer of what is the truth. Sarnetta, thanks for a great job with this issue, but it's now time to let the people decide and choose what is right. So here we are. We got Brother Seti that's here to stand on the shoulders of the ancestors in defense of what he's been bringing forth, and we got the Brother Sabir to try to dispute.
Oh, don't say try, and don't say I'm standing on the answer.
Okay, well, all right, well, he gonna, Brother Seti, Brother Sabir is standing on the shoulders of his Moorish ancestors.
All my ancestors, brother. Don't just say my more. If you're talking about
brother, we ain't even go there. And then you can address that.
Don't do that because it ain't going down that way. If you're gonna say he's standing on the shoulders of ancestors, I'm doing the exact same thing. So
I don't know. So
you should know it.
We're gonna see. Okay. But right now, look forward to it.
All right.
Peace, Hotep, and Black Power. Moorish Brooklyn Intelligence. Peace. Tell us a little bit about yourself, my brother.
Peace.
And why do you think it's important to be here today?
Peace.
Peace.
Shalom. Shalani. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Islam. Paz. All ancient words of peace.
Black Power. That's my greeting.
That's your greeting.
Black Power.
Alright, so peace to all melanated people on the planet, all Asiatics. Today, I'm just here with my brother, SUTEN Seti, because what I've seen from my personal experience, like I said, I'm not here representing the Moorish Science Temple or none of that. Me as a brother who did a research and watched all of his videos and listened to all his videos, I'm here to help this brother clean up some of the mess that he has encountered or was not properly explained to him. So this is a great meeting between Sabir, me, and Brother SUTEN Seti, so that the people can understand where each side is coming from, what's the problem that each people have, and that we could leave with a proper, good, solution and understanding today.
Okay, that's peace. Brother Sabir.
First and foremost, I want to give honor and respect to Prophet Ali. Today is actually his birthday.
All right.
Yeah, and I want to put that out. And also, it's the day that my mother transcended a year ago. The same day, today, actually. And like I said, I don't belong to the Moorish Science Temple neither. You know what I mean? No particular temple I belong to. I'm like Moorish Brooklyn, we do our own independent research and stuff. All right, and I want to say first of all, shake my brother's hand. Sorry I said it because I spoke with that brother quite a few times, and we had an in-depth conversation and talked about his how important he is as far as in this group. And we just, like you said, we here to clear up a lot of misconceptions about the Moors and who are the Moors. And it's going to be good. That's all I want to say.
Okay. Brother SUTEN Seti.
Hotep, family.
Hotep.
I want to give praise to all the ancestors who gave their lives the fight for this struggle that we in today is not over. It's still a struggle. The revolution has never ever stopped. You know, we may have stopped fighting, but the revolution is still going on today. I got brought into the culture, you know, through my elder uncles and whatnot back in Detroit. One of my uncles, Pianki Menkepa Ra, was raised up in the craft of Amun Ra by Dr. Yosef Ben Yakanan in the Nile Valley. So I've been, you know, educated in the Nile from a young. This is not something that I'm new to. And I have now 20 years of research and studies up under my belt. And I've had 3 pilgrimages to the Nile with the master teacher, Ashraf Quasi. You understand what I'm saying? So when I say these things that I say, I'm not saying it because I read a couple of books. It's not that. Believe me, what I'm saying is what I know or what I was taught by my elders. So I don't want anybody to think that this is just a casual typo that I might have misread in a book. It's not. So I want the brothers and sisters that see this conversation to take what I'm gonna give them very, very serious.
Okay, that's peace, brother. Okay, let's start this interview then. The first question I have is for you, Brother Seti.
Yes, sir.
What have inspired you to come out in defense of the ancestors to speak against the Moors?
Well, again, my brother, like I say, I've been trained to be a soldier. I have not been trained to be anything else but a soldier. And my elders made sure that I knew who my enemy was. And when I went to Kemet, man, you know, when I first went, I didn't really know what I was gonna see. You know, I had only the things what was told me. But when I got there and I seen all of the destruction that happened to our sacred temples and our holy land, and I seen the enemy still upon my land. You understand what I'm saying? I took my oath at the Grand Lodge of Waset. I stood in front of my brothers and sisters, and I stood at that temple where all priests were raised up in the Nile Valley. And I took my oath when I came back here that I would give my life to resurrect my people. And I heard things that came up out of the Moors' mouth, certain Moors. If they want to distinguish themselves, that's all right. But I mean, I don't have time to distinguish. I'm on the battlefield. But I heard certain things that came up out of their mouth that I know for a fact is incorrect. And one of the things that I really have a very serious problem with is the fact that they teach that the slave trade is overcounted, that it did not happen the way we said that it happened, that we're just lying, that when we see these slave forts in Africa, and when we talk to our brothers and sisters on the other side of the ocean, that give us the information, it ain't come out of no cracker book. This comes down through the elders' teachings. How many left? All of the madness that went, how many died before they could get them on the ships? How many died on the ocean? The fact that certain Moors, and I don't want to condemn all, but I don't want to get in the habit of trying to apologize neither. Because if these certain Moors felt that what the other Moors was teaching was incorrect, they should get on them. Don't try to correct me when I get on.
That's right.
You should have did it before I did it, but they didn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? Is that we all just lying. We're just recreating this. And if we don't show our babies how they got in this situation, they will never know how to get out. And that's why I'm so adamant about making sure that I clarify my stance. That our slave trade went over 100 million. We're just counting at 100 million. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. The brother that just got shot down in Oakland. That's the continuation of this Holocaust. How many brothers dropping dead, murdered in New York? How many brothers are on a yearly basis? How many young brothers dropping dead in Detroit every year on the day? Philly. It's a damn Holocaust, man. So we don't want to, you understand what I'm saying? We don't want to lighten up on our Holocaust like a lot of these brothers is doing. We want to tighten up and make sure that the numbers is correct, that our babies know exactly what happened to them, and that falsehoods about how we got here is not taught as if it's the truth, which it is not.
Okay, brother, that's peace, man. Brother, Brooklyn Intelligence.
Yes, sir.
I would like for you to respond on that, brother. How do you feel about the slave trade? Do you agree that it was over 100 million? Or do you bring down the numbers as well?
It's not about bringing down the numbers. The numbers we know was large. It was crazy numbers. As a matter of fact, we can't even know exactly what the numbers is. We just have to round it off. However, we have a good number because we know they treated us like commodity and property, so they had to take a note of everything.
So what is your understanding of the slave trade and how it went down?
My understanding of the slave trade is that we have been taught in the institutional school system only one side, and that's when we was enslaved or in bondage. What I get across to people is that yes, slavery did happen, if you want to call it that. The Moors call it we being prisoners of war. But slavery did happen in a sense, but the whole big picture is that the first slaves were European. That's where the word slavery come from. So if you really research, the first slaves anywhere, and even in North America, was pale slaves. Not only that, the first slaves through the Middle Passage, the Atlantic Triangle, or even on the Atlantic waterways were European. Then we became mixed with them, and then we, at the end, became the commodity for slavery. And what they did was they put our face on the whole entire thing. So me, as an individual Moor, yes, slavery did happen, but we have to probably understand what happened throughout the whole thing, which means it was the whole Pale Nation, it was the Arabs, and even some of our own ancestors that participated in the slave trade for political and financial reasons.
Were there Moors participation?
Yes, brother, because we who are navigating as Moors, because everybody sitting right here is a Moor. The brother may not subscribe to that title, but everybody that's melanated is a Moor. So yes, our ancestors, aka black people, aka colored people, aka melanated people, aka Asiatics, did participate in the slave trade. We can't deny that.
Brother Sabir, do you want to respond to that, or?
Well, I'm agree. I have to agree 100% with Moors Brooklyn, because for me, I've never heard of more. Like I keep saying, a lot of these things that people are saying that slavery did not exist. I talked to SETI, it was a couple of weeks ago, SETI, we had this conversation about, your bending piece when you said the Moors came up and said slavery never existed.
Indeed.
And I disagreed, didn't I? Didn't I say I disagreed with that? The conversation is that slavery never existed. The way they say slavery happened didn't happen exactly the way they said, like Moors Brooklyn just said. All this history of the story is not being told in school, because again, who's teaching our children? This argument can go on and on. So we're going to continue on having our children in their school system, regardless of whether we sit here and fight about what color we are or not. But the facts of the matter is that, like Brooklyn said, if you look up the word rather, somebody went to look in a Webster's dictionary, slave was the Europeans, was the Indo-Europeans and Scandinavians. We were prisoners of war, and this is what Moors are calling it. It's prisoners of war. Wherever you stood, you became that slave, so-called slave. But slavery happened, but not the way they said it happened.
Okay, like, be more specific. Not the way they said it happened. Which way you talking about they said it happened?
The way we're talking about slavery, the way it happened, and yes, there was, quote unquote, when we say Moors, there was involved in it also. Moors were involved in it also, because like you said, the so-called blacks, African Americans, whatever we want to call ourselves, were all Moors. How was our people? You can call them Africans, you can call them blacks, whatever was involved in it. Don't get it twisted because they had feathers on their heads, because before 1930s, everybody wore feathers in different countries, no matter what country you were in. But the way slavery happened, it wasn't that they took everybody from Africa, because some slaves did come from Africa, from Goree Island, and a lot of us was right here in North America and in South America. So where they took you from South America up to North America, from North America down to South America. This is how the slave trade took place. And we have to understand geography and what countries mean. And this is when laws start coming into play. So when they start saying they crossed the Macy-Dixie line, each state was a country amongst its own. Alright? So, I mean, a lot of stuff need to be cleared up. Maybe we'll get into that.
You know what? I don't want to get into the word like Slav. You know, if there's some crackers came over here, so damn what? I'm speaking for my people. You know, and what I'm catching is we get lost in the wordplay. If I say slave, I mean a man that's forced to work. That's what I mean. I don't want to get into historical. I know Slav. I could do that. I know enough to wordplay. Don't want the wordplay. It's enough controlled genocide, such as the one in the Congo with Leopold. Even Mark Twain wrote a book on it, and he documented that they lost 30 million in the Congo between the 40 years that man was dead. 40 million. That's one nation in 40 years. So, I mean, that's a control. Now, if you think of all the other nations that's in Africa, and that the cracker is the one that was in Morocco and Egypt, he's the same cracker. How many did they kill? How many did they actually kill, my brother? Sometimes it becomes irrelevant to try to fight an issue because it's so evident.
Like I said, I agree with you, but if you fast forward it up today and understanding that it's not about playing with words, if you understand, and you and I, if you have any children, you have children right now?
Indeed.
Now, what school system they go to?
We had that. They go to the public school system.
Okay, now, when your child comes home, what do you tell your child to look up any definition in? Now, we're using 21st century or 20th century, whichever way you want to do. When you and your child, right now, in their school system, when they tell your child to go home and look up something, what do you tell them they're going to tell them to look it up at?
Stop it. Wait a minute, you tried that, you done had that before. Didn't I tell you, man, I've been raised in craft.
I'm not.
I won't go tell my babies, I give them